Hello people, today I have with us the Cross Frame Girl Dark Magician Girl, and this is one of the collaborations between Kotobukiya and I'll show you a picture of that on the screen, but obviously this is a character from Yu-Gi-Oh! This is one of the cards actually. I think she becomes a character later on. I don't know too much about Yu-Gi-Oh! Lore, so you'll have to forgive me for that. As you see here, she does have her stand and her magical book. This is a pretty cool little setup here. Very finely detailed book. I have no idea what it is. This very cool stand with a detailed motif, as well as the one that she's using, are some really nice inclusives that they got with this set. As you see here, her very stylized hair and hat are reproduced in a lot of different parts. Of this is just out of box. There's no paint on this whatsoever, so this is all part separation. These ones here are POM pre-painted pieces, so they aren't part separated, but it is a really cool look on those things. The feet, however, are all part separated as well. The only things that are that POM are these two shoulder things and these guys right up here up front. So like I usually do, I do want to go over the articulation on this girl. There are a tiny amount of failings as far as articulation goes, where you could have some issues on your own. So we're going to start with the head. The hat does come off. The helmet, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure what it is. I know Dark Magician has one too. This one also is reproduced in the box to go the other way as well. As you can see, her hair is asymmetrical, and they do have it in both ways because she's got that anime hairstyle that's supposed to look the same no matter what side you look at her. So they do that by using different parts. So they do that by using different parts, and I'll show you those in a little bit. So the neck joint is a ball joint up inside her head here, as you can tell. That's a pretty normal situation there. Inside the bottom of her neck, however, is another ball joint, and that one, let's see if I can pull that apart. Didn't need to pull that one apart, but there is another little ball joint inside here, and that one, it's a little difficult to put together. That is one of the shortcomings there, but you can move that one on the peg just a hair, and that allows you to have a little bit more range of motion. And then the one inside actually moves forward and back, just like your most of the frame arm scrolls actually have. That one is a little weak, so be careful using that one as a fulcrum to articulate her neck. Let's go ahead and move on to her arms. So the arms are articulated with a ball joint that goes inside a very solid point inside her shoulder, and that allows you to move her any which way you'd like to do. Obviously this one is going to be in place of it, so you got to watch out for that, but lots of articulation there. And then inside there, where the upper and lower arm move, upper arm gets together with the shoulder, you can rotate that as well. One point of articulation on the elbow, not a bad articulation, considering she's got this armor on. If you move it this way, you can get it pretty decently further than 90 degrees and a little bit less than 180 here. The armor there also rotates on her wrist, so you can do that as well. That's another point which most of these model kits don't actually have. Her hands here are on the same wrist pin that you normally get, so just the two parts put together, and then you can move those just like so. And because of that, this is actually articulated around there. You can move that around as her hand guard. Works pretty well, actually. Inside here is a ball joint, as you see here. There is a nice sturdy setup inside this set that moves backwards, forwards, and side to side, as you can see. Go ahead and slap that back together because we're going to go back up to the top here. These the arm guards here actually are articulated as well. This is serving as a peg to slide into her chest. So that is taking the place of a hole that I will show you in a little bit. And that allows her to rock that. It also plugs into her back so that you can get each one individually up and down. So you can move those up and down like so. And the cape is actually modeled so that you can take advantage of that. Pretty cool. Down here at the hips, this is set into a ball joint at her waist. So it does articulate, but not very much, especially with all the other accoutrements on. This is articulated so that it can move up and down. Each one of these is actually articulated as well. They're on pegs, and so are these actually. So all of these can move, just not very much. You have to be careful. Also, the pegs for those are very, very small. Her legs are on a sliding system that moves up and down. So that can be pushed upward or downward like so. They aren't meant to be paired, so I don't know why they're doing it like that, but that's how it works right now. The ball joint system inside the leg is very nice. It's like the Megami device add-on part, so there's quite a lot of range of motion inside here. You know, each one of these parts is very sophisticated. The upper thigh can move and rotate just like so. So too can the lower leg on the knee. That also can move up and in and out just a bit. It isn't exactly meant to, but it can move outward so that you can get even more range of motion on that double jointed system here. The foot can move separately from the rest of the leg. So you have another degree of motion there. This also can move this way here, so the upper leg can stay the same. And the foot is on a very sophisticated ball joint system. There is a 3-piece joint up here that moves to a ball joint at the bottom. The ball joint is on a rocker system inside the foot. So if I could show you that rocker system in there actually allows you just a bit more motion to get some pretty sophisticated motion inside there. That said, because of the way this is designed, you don't really get to take much advantage of that. But every little bit helps when you have a complicated system like so. So our Dark Magician girl also has some really fancy stand set here. So it's one peg here and a ball joint on this setup. And then some pretty sophisticated joint system to hold this setup up here. They could have made this a little bit simpler, but I appreciate the effort that they took to make this work. Same goes for the other system here. This is a peg instead of the ball that's on this one. The peg can allow a lot of motion for this one. And then there's it set up on the bottom of this one so that it can hold the book either open or closed, depending on how you want it. The book is also articulated, so you can open and close it, and you can also lock it in place like so. Pretty cool. It also holds it, like I said, either open or closed. So Dark Magician Girl comes with three different faces on top of the one that you see here. This is her neutral face. You also get a winking face. You get an angry face. And a blushing, embarrassed face. For hands, there's quite a few. She has the closed fist that I have on her right now. You have the holding hand, like so. You have a pointing holding hand, like so. An open hand. and a relaxed open hand. Let's see if I can get that one up here. There we go. Very nice selection. Some of the other things she includes are a neck piece for frame arms girl style heads. A simple piece here that's actually pegged into her chest so that you don't have to use the arms there. The arm guard, sorry. And a peg to fill in the gap of her head if you're not going to use the hat. Now that one is not apparent here, but if you pull that off, there is a substantial hole in the top of her head, so that blonde piece will fit in there and cover that up, so she doesn't have to wear the hat. Now, she doesn't look bad without it here, but at a top angle, it would definitely show up. And like I mentioned before, she does have the alternate hat so that you can spin it the other way. You would take off those top parts and put it on this way. And because it does lean that way, you have the alternative hairstyle. So like I said, it faces the other way. I'll put that on right now, and I'll show you what that looks like. It is rather funny how much that actually changes on her appearance. I didn't expect it to be so drastic, but that is how it goes. With her eyes facing toward the right, it's definitely noticeable. Alright, and before I do a size comparison, this is what she looks like without the arm guards there. Kind of naked almost. Without the hat as well, I put the plug in the top there, so she is armorless mode. Of course, before I forget, she actually comes with a set of decals, so if you wanted to make her faces, if you wanted to paint those parts, you are more than welcome to do so, and to use these decals to replace the eyes that are already on there. Not surprisingly, my Gundam high grade here is pretty short compared to her. Not surprisingly, that also makes the Alto very short. She also gives Jinrai a very short look. Very funny. I think she's floating a little bit on those big feet, but not too bad. Giving Architect all the help she can, I put her up on the concrete block instead of on the grass there, and she's still a little bit shorter than my magical Dark Magician girl. That's pretty trippy. There is the Nero, the 124 scale kit, next to this massive looking girl. But of course we have to put her in her place. My master grade Alex Gundam is always going to make these girls look a little bit short. Because I am ever so curious, I wanted to see what she looked like compared to my... And of course she does still rock the world with her tremendous height. Well, I think that is going to do it for the review. I think she is an incredible model kit. She is a wonderful piece. There are some details that need to be done up. The really cool clear parts that you get that go along with her armor set. The very small amount of color separation, or the very small amount of color correction that you would need for her necklace and for her chest pieces, both this version and the other. Wouldn't be very difficult to paint. I think she would do with some matte correction because the stuff is very either shiny or not shiny enough. I would definitely like to see her with a painted hair scheme. I think that would look really good on her. The yellow is a very bright and pale yellow, where normally she has a very, almost a banana look. But that would be something for another time. Probably not going to be me either. So we will see what happens in the future if I do get her to paint. We'll see how that looks. For now, though, I think that she is an exceptional kit. Like I said, that is something worth looking into. She's not that expensive. I think I got her for $60. For a girl kit, that's not bad. She doesn't include a lot of extras. The stands and stuff like that are extras, and they are very cool, but that isn't something to write home about. Still, I do definitely like her. I think she is one of the best kits I've built this year. I am really enthralled with how simple she went together, which is a surprise considering how color corrected she is. and I think that she is a win in my book. Hopefully I got enough size comparisons for you. You guys like what you see, and get yourself one of these as well. She is a really cool one to play with. But that's going to be all for this time. I will see you guys next time, where you'll see me, but more than likely you will see my stuff. Bye-bye.